Separation and divorce are hard for everyone, especially when you're the one who didn't want the divorce in the first place. But what about when circumstances are really messy? If you've seen me on YouTube before, you know that I come on and I talk a lot about emotional regulation. And I'm always saying how these exercises work for everybody. Anyone can do them. And once you do them, everything else is going to get easier. You'll be able to accept your divorce. You'll be able to start to move forward, find your identity, your confidence, start dating again. And if your circumstances are really bad, if things are really difficult and messy for you, you might be wondering if these things can really work for you. You might be like, come on, Rachel, it sounds great, but my situation is really fucked up. If that's where you're at, then this video is for you because it really does work. The emotional regulation stuff, the nervous system regulation, it works even when circumstances are really, really bad. And I know this because I have seen men do it, and I'm going to give you some examples of some of these men. I worked with a man whose soon-to-be ex-wife was still living with him while she started dating. They had 2 small children at home. She was in the house every night, getting ready, dressed up, dolled up, going out on dates, and he had to watch that. I've had several clients whose wives have betrayed them for their best friends, men that they had been close to for 20 or 30 years in some cases. But there was one in particular that was really bad because as she was leaving him for his best friend, he found out that she was pregnant by said best friend, and the 2 of them already shared 2 small children under the age of 10. So here he's going through this unwanted divorce. He's losing his wife, his best friend, she's pregnant, and he's got 2 kids, so he has to deal with her, he has to interact with her. I've worked with men whose soon-to-be ex-wives have bipolar disorder, manic depression, borderline personality disorder, and a wide variety of other mental health diagnoses. I've worked with many guys whose wives have accused them of narcissism and other horrible, horrible things, both in and out of court. And more than one who actually, despite all of that, would still come back like once a week to have wild and crazy sex with them and then tell them how much they hated them at the end of it. You can imagine what a mindfuck that is. And then, of course, there's the men who have been alienated from their children, forced to move to other states or even other countries to just stay close to their children, lost jobs because they had to make moves to be near their kids. I could go on, but I'm not going to because the beginning of all of these stories, when you pile them up, can get pretty depressing, and that's the opposite of what we want to do. The last thing I'll say about where these guys started is that a lot of them had their own trauma histories of childhood abuse, of neglect, of abandonment. Some of them were dealing with the loss of a parent or even both parents simultaneously with the divorce, or with major health scares that they went through that either happened simultaneously with the divorce or that actually caused the divorce because their health deteriorated and she chose to leave him during that process. And a lot of these guys also had their own mental health diagnoses. Again, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, ADHD. So these are messy circumstances. But the bottom line is this: the emotional regulation worked for all of them when they showed up consistently. And this is what I see again and again and again, that emotional regulation, these simple, practical, self-awareness, mindfulness, breathing exercises work. But they don't work immediately. They don't work like a magic pill. I think people want to do them and then it just feels better instantly. It doesn't work like that. It takes consistent practice over time to moderate and regulate your emotions, and you feel better. And when you feel better, it's dramatic. But it's not this like magic switch. And I think that's what we've come to expect in a society that likes to take pills for everything. So I'd like to share a happier story with you, a man who really committed to this emotional regulation process and got amazing results. And I'm going to tell you as I share this story, this is not one of those like atypical results stories. If you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you probably see a lot of testimonials where they're like, these are not typical results. This person did exceptional things. And it's their caveat so that if you, by coaching from them or join their program, you don't expect to get those same results, right? You hope for them, but you're not like holding them accountable to help you get there. This, what I'm about to share with you, is a typical story. I'm going to say that again. This is typical. These are results I consistently see men, all walks of life, all degrees of messiness in their divorce, getting these kinds of results when they apply basic emotional regulation tools to their lives consistently day in and day out for a period of weeks or months. The particular brand of emotional regulation that I use with my clients is something I call limbic awareness, and it's just a set of exercises that open up communication directly between the logical brain and the limbic system, or the emotional brain. And it's the set of exercises that I have seen consistently work the best for men going through the specific challenges that come along with divorce and separation. For the last 2.5 years, I have consistently seen my clients use these tools to regulate their emotions, feel better, and take back control of their lives after divorce or separation. One of those clients was a guy I'm going to call Kevin. This is a real client. That's not his real name. I want to protect a little of his privacy here on YouTube. A lot of the men I work with struggle with suicidal thoughts early on in the divorce, and Kevin was one of those. It was really touch and go for him for a while. He wasn't sure he was literally going to survive it, because he was maybe not going to literally survive being alone with himself in those early days. And so when he reached out to me, he knew that he couldn't go back to that dark place. It had almost killed him, and he was so afraid of ending up back there, but he could feel himself right on the edge of it. And what had happened for Kevin, he had started to kind of get his head around the divorce, but then his ex started seeing somebody new, and it was really, really soon. And she was just letting this guy around his kids, and it was driving him crazy. He was so angry, and he knew that he was just right at that edge of feeling like he was out of control and sinking back into that suicidal depression. Kevin was beyond angry at her, but he was also angry at himself. He had a lot of shame and a lot of regret. He also knew that he had to somehow get past all of this if he was ever going to live again, if he was going to have a life that was his own again. And so what Kevin and I did was we developed a limbic awareness practice. I taught him how to communicate directly with his emotional brain, and you do it by activating the medial prefrontal cortex. It's the part of our conscious mind that has direct neural connections to the limbic system. So it's the fastest way to consciously regulate what you're feeling. Now, Kevin's a great guy, but he was not some Superman. He didn't do anything extraordinary. He just practiced these exercises day in and day out. He was committed. And about 3 weeks into the process, he came to a coaching call and he told me that he felt different. He didn't feel afraid anymore. Instead, he was starting to feel resilient. 2 months after that, he found himself having really effective, compassionate, co-parenting conversations with his ex-wife, something he hadn't thought he would ever be able to do because he was so angry at her. A month after that, he got a promotion at work. And now he's dating an amazing new woman, and he's told me that she knows everything. And she knows the darkest thoughts, his darkest bits of his past, the things he's been ashamed of, and she accepts him, and she loves him as he is, and he feels more intimacy, more connection in that relationship that's just a few months old than he ever felt in 15 years with his wife. And this is not the first time I've heard this, you guys. If you have seen the interview I do with Bob, he talks about the same thing. He spent 10 years married to his wife, and yet 4 months into a new relationship with this woman, he felt closer to her than he ever had with his ex, because he had learned how to have this really genuine, open, vulnerable, honest connection. He wasn't ashamed of who he was anymore. And he went out and really connected with this new person in a way that he wasn't capable of connecting with his ex-wife. And perhaps that his ex-wife wasn't really capable of hearing or joining him in that connection. So what changed for Kevin? What changed for Bob? They learned how to regulate their nervous systems. This practice of limbic awareness, it doesn't turn off your emotions. It doesn't control your emotions. What it does is it allows you to feel them without reacting to them. So you can feel something and then still choose how to respond to any given situation. And as you develop this awareness, this practice, it gives you two, what I call relationship superpowers. The first one is that it gives you a vast world of insight into the whys, why your ex did what she did, why she continues to do what she did, why you did the things that you do. All of those whys that you want answered, that you think are out there. The clarity that you're going to get on those is actually going to come when you go inside and get to know your actual nervous system. Because that deep understanding of self is going to help you look at other people and see past their surface behaviors to the root motivation, the thing that's driving them to do what they do. And you're going to understand other people, from your children to your ex-wife to a new partner to your boss, in an entirely different way. And that takes us to the superpower number 2, which is that you become magnetic. People are drawn to you because you're seeing them, you're hearing them, not what they're saying on the surface, not what they're showing you with their actions, but what's in their hearts, what they're really feeling, the underlying primary emotions that are driving all of their actions and behaviors. And so they feel safe with you. They feel seen by you. They feel connected to you. And you'll find that people, men and women alike, start opening up to you in ways that they don't open up to other people. You'll find that women are drawn to you, that they're interested in wanting to connect and seek you out. This is why limbic awareness, this emotional regulation practice, is the basis, the foundation of everything that I do with my clients and everything that I teach here in these YouTube videos. It not only helps you get control of really painful and overwhelming emotions and make them manageable, it also sets you up to be able to enjoy and maintain really deep, fulfilling, intimate relationships going forward. It was my intention in this video to help you see that this is possible. Even if your circumstances are really fucked up, even if you have a history of trauma and you've had a series of losses, or your ex is doing horrible things, or there's other complications going on, it is possible for you to learn these skills, to calm your nervous system, and to really take back control of what happens to you next. Find your purpose, find your identity, move forward, start dating, connect with women, connect with other people in ways that take you just to a healthier, happier place. As you do this, it's actually very healing for past traumas as well. You're probably asking the next logical question, which is, okay, Rachel, if this really works, if I really can do this limbic awareness stuff, what do I do? What does it look like? What are these simple emotional regulation exercises you're talking about? So I actually just made an entire video about that. It's called the Divorce Survival Guide, and it goes through 9 different emotional stages that I see most men experiencing during and after a divorce. And at each of those stages, I go in and I help you recognize which one you're in. And then I give you specific exercises that are going to help you regulate your nervous system and practice limbic awareness based on the stage that you're at, so that you get the results as quickly and efficiently as possible. So join me in this next video, and I will see you there.